Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Joel Madden, and this is Artist Friendly. On this episode, I'm talking to an award-winning photographer who got his start in skateboarding and music, but has gone on to photograph some of the most iconic people in sports, music, film, television, fashion, and beyond. Atiba Jefferson. Let's go. So Josh and me were talking about you, and have many times. He's been telling me about you for years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no.
We were talking this week because I was like, I got Atiba coming up, and I was excited to have you on. And we were talking about how we feel like you're one of the most important photographers of our time because you're coming from, and this is our theory on art. We think because you came up through skateboarding, you didn't get all the pretension that a lot of photographers who break out through fashion and other ways.
So many egos I trip on.
And it becomes almost like not about the simple art of capturing a moment that, like you said, the moment that'll never happen again. Who's to say when you know to push the button on that camera?
100%.
And what angle? It could be a completely different picture if you were this, just moved
it happens all the time to me.
You know, and so
I don't even see good, like with my photography until that Tyshawn kickflip, I always see not a bad photo, but what I can improve.
Yeah.
Like when I take a look at my photography, I never go, you nailed it. I go, maybe once, maybe just a smidge, the light here, this, like I just did a shoot with Caitlin Clark. Like I was so excited to shoot her, and the photos came out great. But even when I see it, I'm like,
well, that's the artist, but it's your eye.
Yeah.
And it's your experience.
Yeah.
And it's your life experience, and it's your humility.
Yeah.
There's something about that. I'm telling you, there's something about where you come from. It's why I think we have an edge when we build businesses, because we're not coming from the same world. We're coming from a different world, and we don't have the rules, and we don't have any pretension. We think everyone's valuable.
Yeah.
So we're always looking at everyone because we're saying, like, who's the next special person, and what are they?
It's funny. I've been doing, working with Vans, coming up on a bunch of stuff. And, you know, what I always say is like, doesn't have to be the biggest, doesn't have to be the best. What is that's special? What makes someone special? Like, it's more about finding people that are special in this day and age, I think, than finding the one that necessarily has the most followers, the one that has this. Who is that person when they walk in the room? You go, well, that's how you know someone's special. It's like, it's an amazing thing. And not everyone has that.
No.
Like Kobe Bryant, whenever he walked in a room, you know, like Ian Mackay, when he walks in a room, the first time I met him, he walked into family.
You're like, you're fucking cool.
Everyone was like, whoa. And there's so many young people like that. Like, I'm a big fan of Playboi Carti. And ever since I first met him, I was like, that kid is special.
Yeah, he is. He's dope.
Really, really special. And the funny thing is, he was like, it was a shoot. It was Young Thug, 21 Savage, and him for this Adidas job. And he goes, none of them know who you are. I know who you are. I'm a skater. I know exactly who you are. Like, I'm so psyched to shoot with you. And like,
he seems cool like that. I don't know him personally.
Yeah, he has a Bad Religion tattoo.
Yeah.
You know, like what? And that was young. I was like, you have a Bad Religion
He's one
tattoo?
person I've always wanted to talk to.
No, he's
just different.
Great. He's great. He's great. And so influential in what he's doing. Like,
one of the most influential.
Wild.
Yeah.
It is really, but you saw it when you first heard Magnolia, you were like, this is special.
Again, another guy, Playboi Carti is another artist that I feel like moves on his own path.
It's psycho. It's psycho.
He does not give a fuck.
Nope.
He's going to do what he wants to do.
That's it.
And I just feel like he's so influential in leading artists down a path of do what you feel.
Yeah.
Don't 100%. Let the walls cave in on you of what is supposed to be big, what is supposed to be. And he's built a big career.
Yeah. It's wild.
Doing it his way.
The last shoot I did a cover with him for Double XL that he asked for me to do. He called me up and said, I need you to do this for me. I'm like, cool, let's do it. Obviously, it's going to be at night, hip hop hours, but like we did the shoot from like 10 to midnight in the studio and around the studio, and went back to the music studio and listened to new music while he made the edit on everything, was cropping it and going, yep. And I was like seeing his creative process work wasn't exactly how I would have picked it.
Yeah.
But I stand back and go, no, I respect your vision.
Yeah. Let him be an artist.
Because I think that's the other thing too for me. And I kind of laugh at photographers that have egos, and all good if you do and you think you're the greatest, but you're only as good as your subject when you are shooting people.
Yeah.
And I think photographers that shoot people are kind of low level artists. Like, of course we can call ourselves artists, but no, like to me, music is way high on that, painting and music. And you know, I kind of laugh because you can sit here and call me a very important photographer, right? But the reason why is because I shoot the things that I love and think that I'm so lucky to have those moments, and also very lucky to have picked some really cool subject matters.
But I am
only as good.
Right. But
like if I was shooting a bad basketball player, the photo would be cool, or a bad skater, it would be cool.
But less iconic.
Exactly. And we got it. That's okay. That's okay.
But the thing is that that's the humility.
Exactly.
That's the part
and that's my ego that I can always check at the door, where there are other photographers who can't do that. And I kind of laugh at those photographers because I'm like, you're wasting so much energy on being an asshole with your ego when you have to realize you're only good because of who you shot. And I always laugh.
It's a joint effort.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Making art together.
100%. And that's when it's really great to me, because when you're in a situation, I shot this was a really amazing shoot that I did with the Edge from U2. His wife's sister is married to this amazing dancer. And we did this show. We're actually going to take it to Cuba. And she had a handful of different photographers all shoot him. But it was improv, like there's no music, there's no communication. And so I'm in this studio and I just have my cameras and he's moving, you know, it's this improv dancing around this space.
And you're not even talking to each other?
Not at all.
So you're just a spectator.
But at the same time, I'm moving with him because
you're shooting him.
Like at a basketball game, I'm a spectator 100%.
Right.
This is where I play piano and I play a lot of jazz. So it's like improv. So if I'm seeing him go here, put his hand here, I was like, okay, wide angle down there. And it was like 45 minutes. It was the craziest shoot, like one of the wildest shoots I've ever done. Cool. And to the point, you know, there's moments where we're staring at each other throughout this, but at that very end, he's staring at me and I'm still shooting. It's like, that's it. You know, I got so consumed with creating this art with this person that I didn't even know.
Photos?
Loved it. I mean, it was completely different than anything that I've ever done. And I love doing that. Like for me, with photography, I never wanted to be just a skateboard photographer. To me, I always want to be the skateboard photographer that took skateboarding ideas into sports and portraiture. And that's what I've built my career on.
Absolutely. That's exactly.
I never, you know, there's a lot of photographers who be like, I don't shoot portraits. I only shoot action, or vice versa. And like, to me, that's just putting a limitation on yourself, which is nothing that I ever want to do.
You don't feel drawn to capture video.
I mean, it's not that I don't, but I think like why I love stills is because it's this singular moment that will never happen again.
Yeah.
And you actually stop to think about it. The composition of it, what it takes to create it is such a special thing.
Yeah.
Moving video is great, but only for me. Like I'll direct music videos, but very rarely. And
for your friends or
yes, I gotta be into the music.
Right.
And documentaries. So documentary filmmaking is something I would love to see myself go more into that space. I love storytelling because that's what I do with my photography. I love documenting stuff. I did a documentary called Monochrome, which is on ESPN Plus, and it came out about a year and a half ago. And it's the story about the Black experience in skateboarding.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a great project. My friend Steve Lawrence brought me in as co-director. We actually got nominated for a Sports Emmy.
Awesome.
And we won a Clio. So
awesome.
It did its thing. It's, you know, you have to have ESPN Plus to watch it. So it's not easily watchable for those who don't have that. But it was a
have it.
great thing. And I want to continue that story. That story, we could only tell so much in such a small period. And we made it during the pandemic, which was a complete nightmare. This was like dead pandemic where testing and people traveling. So I think once we would do a part 2, we could tell that story because it's an amazing story that a lot of people don't understand in skateboarding because it goes from, skateboard parks and vert ramps being the gatekeeper, right? You had to be rich.
Right.
And then once street skating happened, all you needed was a skateboard. You went outside your door. So anyone from any walk of life all of a sudden had the access to it versus when you had to have a skate park membership and all that stuff to do it. Once street skating happened, it was open to every walk of life.
That's the key for all things.
Yeah.
Access.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting? Like the ideas around certain things that have been kept and not accessible to people unless they have a certain amount of money, they live in a certain area. Yeah. Think about that too. Like where do they build the skate parks?
Exactly. I grew up in Colorado and I grew up about an hour and a half south of any snowboarding ski resort, right? Never skied or snowboarded once because I couldn't afford it.
Right. It's so expensive.
Yeah. People would be like, what? You grew up in Colorado? I'm like, didn't happen one time in my life.
That's funny. I always joke with my wife because obviously now I have the means to ski or snowboard, but I didn't growing up. So you just don't do it.
Yeah.
It's a rich person thing.
100%.
And we joke now because my kids can ski and snowboard. They have access to it and they can do it. Yeah. And it's funny how when you give a kid anything, they figure it out. Those early years of development are the most important time to develop all your abilities and your idea of what you're capable of.
Yeah.
All happen in those first 13 years, I think.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I love golfing and I'm a terrible golfer. I picked it up at 20, probably 23.
I love golf 24. Too, and I'm a terrible golfer, but we'd probably
I've been doing it 20 years
together.
Oh yeah, I have fun. I never get mad. I know I suck. There was a period where I took it very serious and I know I'm just never going to be good. But I'll go with people who grew up doing it.
Grew up playing.
And that swing is so natural and smooth. You just see, and it's kind of like skateboarding. Like I'll tell people, like people will be like, are you good? And I'm like, no, I shoot the best of the best that'll ever do it, the best that do it. And me on a skateboard is someone who doesn't skateboard. Yeah, I can 360 flip. They'll be like, you're amazing. I'm like, no, I'm not. It's like, you really, once you start photographing and documenting people who are really great, you realize how great greatness is.
I think that story that you're telling about what it means to a group of people that have no access.
Yeah.
Right, is really, really important and good. I love that story.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that more. But skateboarding, don't you feel like your interest, your love for it, in it, and your ability to do it and enjoy it led you to your career?
Oh, 100%.
Like it was a vehicle that carried you.
100%. I think skateboarding as a learning process is the best process there is. Because, and this took me a long time to figure out, but a friend of mine, this was like in my 20s, way after I'd been skateboarding, was like, he doesn't skate. And we were at Tompkins Square Park, me and a buddy, we were just skating. And he's like, you just fall all day. You're not making anything. You suck.
Yeah, kind of 90% of the time you're falling.
He's like, why do you do that? What is so fun? And to me, I never had thought about it. And when I was going through the motions of explaining, it's the learning process. It's an hour of failure for 1.5 seconds of
total joy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that learning process, like the learning process of how to kickflip, I had been taking that in throughout my life. The learning process that I learned, the process of learning a skateboard trick, I applied that to photography. I applied that to everything in life. And I say that's gotten me where I am. And if I wasn't a skater, if I wasn't so comfortable with failing over and over, I think I would have a different outlook on life. But that learning process and the failure part and the victory, it just makes you way more humbled, I think. I mean, I think being a skater, period, especially when I grew up, it wasn't cool.
It was a different time.
Everyone tried to beat you up. You were an outcast at school. Now everyone skates.
Yeah.
It was funny. There was a Vans event and this cop asked to get a photo with me. And I was like, I wanted to say no.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like, no, I can't do that. And I couldn't because I'm not a mean person.
Yeah.
But I was like, my life has gotten to the point that a cop wants a photo and he's showing me his clips. This guy fully skates.
Yeah.
And that's just where we're at in 2024.